If there were a bill that said that a woman has an unfettered right to abort an unborn baby for any reason up to the moment of birth, would you vote yes or would you vote no?
Senator Kennedy, I refuse to be shackled by your question. What I have answered is that there are conditions that
You don't
occur
know
during
whether you would
pregnancy.
vote yes or no?
There are conditions during pregnancy that mean after 10 weeks,
No,
14 weeks,
I said
20
unfettered
weeks,
discretion.
24 weeks,
You would
conditions such
would
as Ms.
support.
Zarowski.
You're here
and
advocating.
I would support her life.
I
I would
understand,
support her
too,
personhood.
but you're advocating a law.
I support her personhood.
You're advocating a law that says that an unborn baby can be aborted up to the moment of birth for any reason, are you not?
Senator John Kennedy delivers one of the most revealing interrogations in Senate history, asking 3 abortion rights witnesses a devastatingly simple question they absolutely refuse to answer directly. Watch as Professor Goodwin, Dr. Rubenfeld, and Dr. Verma twist themselves into intellectual pretzels trying to avoid admitting whether they support abortion up to the moment of birth for any reason. The evasions are so transparent and the frustration so palpable that this exchange has become required viewing for anyone trying to understand the abortion debate. Kennedy's persistence exposes the gap between what abortion rights advocates believe and what they're willing to say publicly. Each refusal to answer, each appeal to complexity, each claim that the question is unfair only confirms Kennedy's accusation that these witnesses support the extreme position he describes, but know how toxic it would be to admit it on camera. Let's dive into the video.
Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here today. Professor Goodwin, help me understand your point of view. I think this is a yes or no question. Do you support it being legal to abort an unborn child up to the moment of birth?
Senator Kennedy, it is not a yes or no question. I support women like Ms. Zarowski. Women across this...
No, ma'am, I don't... I think it is a yes or no question.
No, well, let me answer.
If there were a law that's... I'm just trying to understand your perspective, and I'm not accusing you of this.
Of course not.
But you know, people sort of talk around this issue. If there were a bill that said that a woman has an unfettered right to abort an unborn baby for any reason up to the moment of birth, would you vote yes or would you vote no?
Senator Kennedy, I refuse to be shackled by your question. What I have answered is that there are conditions that occur during pregnancy.
You don't know whether you would vote yes or no?
There are conditions during pregnancy that mean after 10 weeks,
No,
14 weeks,
I said
20
unfettered
weeks,
discretion.
24 weeks,
You
conditions
would
such as Ms.
support.
Zarowski.
You're here
and
advocating.
I would support her life.
I
would
understand,
support her
too,
personhood.
But you're advocating a law.
I support her personhood.
You're advocating a law that says that an unborn baby can be aborted up to the moment of birth for any reason, are you not?
Let me clarify what the 14th Amendment says in the first sentence, that citizens of this United States are individuals that are born. That is what our Constitution says.
But
Do
why
you
won't you
support our
answer my
Constitution?
question, Professor? I'm not trying to argue. I just want to understand what your position is, and I think you're afraid to say that you do support that. If you do support it, I think you, just for the purpose of an intellectual discussion, you ought to just say so.
For purposes of an intellectual discussion, I'm happy to have that with you. But
Well,
that's
then,
not the tone of...
could you answer my question? Do you support, please? I mean, you teach. Okay, I'm sure you've had students ask this question. Do you support making it legal to abort an unborn baby for any reason? Any reason? up to the moment before birth.
Senator, let's have that intellectual discussion that you
Okay?
want.
We could start if you'd answer my
And-
question. I can't go to my next question until you answer that question.
I want you to be able to go to your second
good.
and your third
Answer it for
questions.
me.
I do. But as I have explained, there are many different conditions.
No, I said
during
unfettered
a
discretion, no conditions. I'm making it easy for you.
Well, I've already shared with you, Senator, that I
I get
support
it.
women's
I don't want to use
person-
all my time. You're not going
And
to
I
answer
support
it,
Ms.
and that is your
Orozco's
right. But I
personhood.
would respect you more if you just say, here's my
I'm
answer.
sorry that you don't respect
I
me
do
very
respect
much.
you, but I said I'd respect you more if you just answer my question. Doctor, tell me how to say your last name. Ms. Dr. Rubenhorst, do you support a law that would allow, for any reason, unfettered discretion, the abortion of an unborn child up until the moment of birth?
No.
You don't. Dr. Verma?
Senator Kennedy, so I'm the one doctor in this room that does provide abortion care, and I can tell you that does not reflect the reality of
No,
abortion
I
care.
understand. I'm just asking a question.
It simply doesn't
But do you
happen.
support it? There are bills before Congress that will allow that to happen.
That's
You don't support it, or are you going to not
again,
answer my question?
As the doctor in this room who does provide abortion care, that is not how abortion care in this country works. It's a hypothetical that does a
But if
disservice
a
to our
patient came to you
patient.
and said, I'm going to probably have a baby this week and I've changed my mind, and I would like you, doctor, to abort the child, would you do it?
That is not how abortion care in
But
this
if,
country
but if a
works.
patient did, would you do it?
My job as a doctor is to look at each individual situation.
I mean,
but I
I'm
have
sorry, I don't
never-
mean to be rude, but I can tell neither you nor the professor will answer my question.
I
And
have
think
nev-
you both have an opinion, and I don't understand why you won't share it.
I have
We're going to solve this
provided-
problem.
I've
Doctor-
provided care for a
doctor,
few
how
years,
about
and I've
you?
never
Could you-
seen that situation.
How about you, Doc? Would you?
Do not support unfettered abortion, and I would like to point out that if a woman did have a life-threatening condition in pregnancy past approximately 22 weeks, that baby can be delivered alive by induction or C-section, and we can try to save that baby. The intent of abortion is a dead baby, and that is not necessary in that situation.
I mean, I want you to all understand where I'm coming from. This is a tough issue. And it's a tough issue because there's some tough questions we've got to answer. And when you won't answer the questions, when you're invited by my Democratic friends, the majority, and you won't answer the most fundamental question, we've got a bill in front of us that will basically say a woman has the unfettered right to abort at any time for any reason up to the moment of birth. And that's a gut check issue. And I would expect you as experts to answer that truthfully, how you do it. Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Chairman.
What transpired in that hearing room was a masterclass in exposing the intellectual dishonesty that has corrupted expert testimony and poisoned honest debate on critical moral issues. Senator John Kennedy didn't just win this exchange, he delivered a devastating indictment of an entire political movement that has become so radical it cannot even articulate its own positions without fear of public backlash. His simple, relentless questioning revealed what millions of Americans have long suspected. The abortion rights movement has moved so far beyond the mainstream that its advocates must hide their true beliefs behind academic jargon and procedural objections. Kennedy's brilliance lay in his refusal to accept evasion as a legitimate response. He understood that Professor Goodwin and Dr. Verma weren't confused by his question or unable to comprehend what he was asking. They knew exactly what he wanted to know, and they knew exactly what their answer was. They simply couldn't afford the political cost of saying it out loud. By refusing to let them hide, Kennedy forced them to choose between honesty and ideology, and they chose ideology every single time, confirming his accusations more effectively than any direct admission could have. The contrast with the pro-life doctor's straightforward answer exposed the fraud completely. When she stated clearly that she does not support unfettered abortion and explained that viable babies can be delivered alive rather than aborted, she demonstrated that honest, medically grounded answers were always possible. The other witnesses weren't avoiding Kennedy's question because it was unfair or unanswerable. They were avoiding it because their answer, abortion should be legal up to birth for any reason, represents a position so extreme that even most pro-choice Americans reject it. Kennedy's frustration wasn't performative outrage, it was the genuine exasperation of someone trying to have an honest conversation with people determined to deceive. When he said he would respect them more if they just answered honestly, he was making a profound point about the collapse of intellectual integrity in political discourse. These witnesses came to influence legislation that would permit exactly what Kennedy described, yet they treated direct questions about that legislation as attacks rather than legitimate inquiries deserving honest responses.